The crystal chandeliers of Bluebird cast judgmental light across white tablecloths. I straightened my spine against the plush velvet chair, watching my father raise his glass. His surgeon's hands, steady, confident, the hands that slice into human brains for a living, command immediate attention from everyone at the table. "To Michael and Jessica," he announces, voice carrying that distinctive authority that makes nurses scramble and patients feel safe. A perfect match between two brilliant medical minds. Wine glasses clink. My mother dabs at the corner of her eye with a linen napkin. My brother Michael beams, one arm draped possessively around his fiancée's shoulders. Their world is complete, circular, perfect, with me sitting just slightly outside the circumference. I sip my Cabernet, letting the tannins linger on my tongue. My simple black dress feels suddenly inadequate next to my mother's dripping pearls and Jessica's designer cocktail attire. But I'd chosen it deliberately. Italian wool, impeccable tailoring, understated. The opposite of trying too hard. "And how's work, Lauren?" My mother tosses the question my way like a bone to a dog. Her voice drops a register on the word work, as if placing invisible quotation marks around it. "Busy," I answer, keeping my voice light. "We're expanding our hospital integration protocols." Mother's eyes glaze over, her attention already drifting back to the happy couple. "When are you going to get a real job, Lauren?" My father cuts into his filet mignon, not bothering to look up. "This computer hobby of yours has gone on long enough." The restaurant noise fades to a dull hum around us. A waiter refills water glasses. Someone at the next table laughs too loudly. "It's not a hobby, Dad. It's a company." Michael snorts. "A company of what, 3 people in a garage?" "4, actually. We hired someone new last month." "Well, while you're playing with computers, some of us are saving lives," Michael says, folding his napkin into a perfect triangle. "Jessica just completed her fellowship in neuro-oncology." Jessica smiles tightly, glancing between us. "It wasn't that big a deal, just lots of studying." "Don't be modest," my mother interjects. "Michael tells us you graduated top of your class." Speaking of achievements, Jessica says, clearly attempting to redirect, "HealthSphere is making some exciting moves. Our acquisition team has identified a breakthrough communication platform that could revolutionize patient care coordination." I check my watch, 8:57 p.m. "That sounds fascinating," my father says, suddenly engaged. "What's the technology?" As Jessica launches into an explanation, my mind drifts back 15 years. The state coding competition, 3 days without sleep, fueled by Mountain Dew and determination. The judges' faces when my program ran flawlessly. The empty house when I returned home, trophy in hand. I had placed it proudly on the living room shelf next to Michael's soccer participation medals. 2 weeks later, I found it in a box marked "Garage Sale" in the basement. That same month, Michael got his medical school acceptance letter. My parents threw a party with 50 guests. We always knew he had it in him, my father had told his colleagues, clapping Michael on the back. I stood in the kitchen, washing dishes, invisible. "Lauren?" Jessica's voice pulls me back. "I asked what you thought about integrated healthcare communication systems." "Oh, I think they're essential," I reply, fingers tightening around my water glass. "Medical errors kill more people than car accidents." My father waves his hand dismissively. "That's administrative babble. Good doctors don't make errors." "Statistics suggest otherwise, Dad." "Statistics can be manipulated." He turns back to Michael. "Have you put a deposit on that country club venue yet?" The conversation moves on without me, as it always has. I remember the day I told them I'd chosen the University of Washington over Yale. My father's face had turned a dangerous shade of red. "Computer science? You're throwing away your future on computer games?" He'd cut off my tuition that night. My mother had suggested therapy for my unhealthy obsession with technology. I'd taken out loans and never looked back. Jessica is mid-sentence about HealthSphere's acquisition target when she suddenly stops. Her fork hovers halfway to her mouth. Her eyes widen as they lock with mine. "Wait," she says, setting down her fork with a clink that seems to echo across the restaurant. "You're that Lauren Madison, the CEO of Metalink?" The table falls silent. My mother's face freezes in confusion. My father frowns. Michael looks between Jessica and me, his expression shifting from dismissal to calculation in the span of seconds. "Yes," I say, lifting my wine glass deliberately. I am. But Jessica stammers, that's the company we're acquiring? I finish for her, taking a slow, deliberate sip. The wine tastes better suddenly, rich with notes I hadn't noticed before. For $180 million? Yes, I know. My father's mouth opens and closes like a beached fish. My mother frantically taps at her phone, no doubt searching my name. Michael's face drains of color. I set down my glass and smile. Now, what were you saying about a real job? My father's mouth opens and closes, his practiced surgeon's calm evaporating like water on hot pavement. There must be some mistake. The words tumble out, desperate and ragged. His hand trembles slightly as he sets down his wine glass, the first time I've ever seen those hands shake. Mother's fingers dance across her phone screen, her crimson nails clicking against the glass. Her eyes widen with each swipe. It says here, oh my, Lauren's company. Valuation of, oh goodness. $180 million, Jessica repeats, staring at me with new eyes. HealthSphere's board approved the acquisition yesterday. The contracts are being finalized next week. She turns to Michael. You never mentioned your sister was that Lauren Madison. Michael's expression transforms with remarkable speed, like a chameleon shifting colors when threatened. The dismissive smirk melts away, replaced by something calculating and sharp. Well, of course I knew Lauren was doing well, he says, his voice pitched for maximum believability. I just didn't realize HealthSphere was the company interested in Medilink. Really? I reach for my phone, pull up a saved recording. 2 months ago, you told Bernard Keller at Pacific Northwest Investors, and I quote, I wouldn't put a dime into my sister's doomed project. Healthcare needs real doctors, not computer geeks. I press play and his voice fills our corner of the restaurant. The color drains from his face. You recorded me? I didn't. Bernard did. Standard practice in their meetings. I slipped my phone back into my purse. He sent it to me afterward. Thought I should know. My mother's phone rings. She answers immediately. Margot. Yes, darling, have you heard the news about our Lauren? Her voice drips with sudden pride. Of course we've been supporting her venture from the start. Such a brilliant mind. Gets it from her father. I catch Jessica's eye. She looks away, embarrassed. Father leans across the table, voice lowered to a conspiratorial whisper. Lauren, we should talk about managing this windfall. My financial advisor has excellent strategies for... For what? I interrupt. For the money you assumed I'd never earn? That's not fair, Mother interjects, covering her phone. We always wanted what was best for you. Is that why you told Aunt Catherine I was between jobs last Thanksgiving? Or why you described my company to the Hendersons as Lauren's little website project? Michael reaches for Jessica's hand. Let's not get emotional. This is wonderful news. We should celebrate. My phone buzzes with a text from Rachel. Did you tell them yet? Rachel, who turned down a 6-figure job at Microsoft to join me in that leaky garage. Rachel, who slept on the office floor during our first product launch. Rachel, who believed when no one else did. Another text arrives from Devin, our lead developer. Team's waiting for update. We've got champagne ready. My real family. The people who saw value in my vision when blood relatives saw only failure. I think about last Christmas when I worked through the holiday while my parents took Michael and his then-girlfriend to Aspen. Family only, my mother had explained when I asked about the trip. I'd spent the 25th of December debugging code with Rachel and our small team, eating Chinese takeout on folding tables. I stand up, my chair scraping against the hardwood floor. The sound cuts through the ambient restaurant noise, drawing glances from nearby tables. Let me be clear about something, I say, looking directly at my father. When I pitched you my idea 3 years ago, you called it a waste of a good mind. When our first hospital implementation prevented a fatal medication error, I sent you the article. You never responded. I turned to my mother. When I needed surgery after my appendix ruptured, you were too busy planning Michael's graduation party to visit. Rachel sat by my hospital bed for 3 days. Michael shifts uncomfortably. Lauren, this isn't the time or place. When is the time, Michael? When you need an investment for your private practice? When you want connections to HealthSphere's board? Jessica studies her plate, her cheeks flushed. I have every email, every text, every voicemail where you dismissed what I was building. I kept them all. I take a deep breath. Not for revenge, for perspective. So I'd never forget what it felt like to build something without a safety net. Father reaches for my arm. Sweetheart, we always believed in you. I step back, gathering my purse and coat with deliberate calm. That's the problem, Dad. You're still lying, even now. Where are you going? Mother asks, panic edging into her voice. We haven't even ordered dessert. I have a team waiting to celebrate with me, people who believed in me before the money. I drop $200 bills on the table. Dinner's on me. Father stands, blocking my path. Lauren, don't be ridiculous. We're your family. I look at him, really look, and see a stranger wearing my father's face. A man who only values what he recognizes as success. Success isn't measured by your approval, I say quietly, and family isn't determined by blood. As I walk away, Jessica calls after me. Lauren, wait. But I don't turn around. Through the restaurant's front windows, I see Rachel waiting in her car, just as planned. She gives me a thumbs up as I push through the doors into the cool night air. Behind me, I leave the fragments of a relationship built on conditional love. Ahead waits the family I chose, who loved me when I had nothing to offer but a dream and the determination to make it real. An hour later, the garage smells of cold concrete and desperation. Rain hammers the metal roof like impatient fingers, drowning out the whir of our overtaxed laptops. Rachel hunches over her keyboard, the blue screen light hollowing her cheeks. Her curly hair is piled on top of her head, secured with what looks like a pencil. The hospital admin wants another demo tomorrow, she says without looking up. I told him we'd have the new interface ready. I stretch my arms above my head, shoulders popping. We will. My voice sounds more confident than I feel. The secondhand desk wobbles as I lean forward, my office chair rescued from a university dumpster squeaking in protest. Our rented garage in South Seattle is a far cry from the gleaming medical tech offices downtown, but the rent is cheap, or cheaper, anyway. The whiteboard dominates the back wall, covered in our healthcare communication protocols. Arrows connect boxes of messy handwriting, the skeleton of our Vijana system to reduce medical errors through better technology. Something hospitals desperately need but aren't willing to pay for. Not yet. Rachel tosses me a granola bar. Eat something. You look terrible. Thanks, I say, catching it one-handed. The wrapper crinkles as I tear it open, the first food I've had since yesterday's vending machine lunch. Lauren, this has to work. Rachel's voice drops to a whisper. My landlord called again. I nod, my throat tight. 9 months of 80-hour weeks, and we're running on fumes. Last month I sold my car to make payroll for our 2 junior programmers. They believe in Metalink enough to work for peanuts, but peanuts still cost money. The algorithm we've been fighting with for weeks glows accusingly on my screen. It's supposed to flag medication conflicts before they happen, alerting doctors before 2 incompatible drugs meet in a patient's bloodstream. But the flagging system keeps triggering false positives, and hospitals don't tolerate crywolf software. My phone buzzes. Michael. I silence it without looking. 3 days ago, he showed up unannounced at the garage. Just checking you're okay, he said, eyes sweeping over our setup with barely disguised pity. Mom and Dad are worried. They could call, I said, arms folded. They think you're going through a phase. His smile was practiced, perfect. Come home for Sunday dinner. Dad has connections at Mount Sinai who could get you a proper job. I showed him the door. That night, I overheard him on a call with a college friend who runs a medical investment fund. My sister's hobby project? God, no, don't waste your money. The memory makes my fingers pound harder on the keyboard. Rain continues its assault on the roof as midnight comes and goes. Rachel brings fresh coffee in chipped mugs. The space heater clicks, struggling against the damp chill. At 3:24 a.m., I spot the problem. A single line of code buried in the communication protocol. I fix it with trembling fingers, then run the test suite. Rachel, I whisper, come look. She wheels her chair over, coffee breath warm against my cheek. We watch in silence as the program runs through its paces. No false positives, No missed conflicts. The clock on the wall reads 3:47 a.m. when the final test completes successfully. We stare at the screen, not moving, not speaking. Our algorithm works, actually works. Holy shit, Rachel breathes. We high-five with the solemnity of surgeons completing an operation, too exhausted for proper celebration. The moment feels surreal, like crossing a line between before and after. Get some sleep, I tell her. Tomorrow we pitch this thing for real. After she leaves, I stretch out on our office couch, a sagging thrift store find that smells faintly of someone else's cologne. My apartment is gone evicted last week when the rent money went to server costs instead. I haven't told Rachel yet. Some burdens stay mine alone. Sleep eludes me. I stare at the ceiling, listening to the rain soften to a drizzle. In my mind, I rehearse tomorrow's meeting with the hospital administrator, who holds our future in his skeptical hands. Dr. James Anderson, head of systems integration at Northwest Memorial, doesn't believe in our vision. Not yet, but he agreed to one final demonstration before pulling the plug on our trial. Morning arrives too soon, gray light filtering through the single dusty window. I brush my teeth in the utility sink, apply mascara without a mirror, and change into the one presentable outfit I keep in a garment bag behind the whiteboard. You look like an actual CEO, Rachel says when she arrives, carrying bagels and coffee. Her eyes narrow. Did you sleep here? Just napped, I lie. Wanted to run some final tests. An hour later, the hospital corridors gleam with institutional cleanliness. Doctor. Anderson's office sits at the end of a long hallway, his name on a brass plate that looks like it costs more than our monthly server rental. Miss Madison. He gestures to chairs across from his imposing desk. Let's make this quick. I have surgeries to oversee. Rachel sets up our demonstration laptop while I begin our presentation. My voice is steady, my back straight. The algorithm sparkles on screen, elegant in its simplicity. I watch Dr. Anderson's expression shift from polite disinterest to reluctant attention. The protocol identifies critical information gaps between departments, I explain, clicking through the interface. It doesn't just flag errors, it predicts them before they happen. He leans forward when I demonstrate how our system caught a potentially lethal drug interaction that their existing protocols missed. His eyebrows inch upward. Impressive, he says carefully. But scaling this hospital-wide would be already factored into our implementation plan. I slide a folder across his desk. Page 3 shows our integration timeline. 2 hours later, we walk out with our first real contract. Not huge, but real. Paid work. Not just a trial. The validation we've been fighting for. In the parking lot, Rachel throws her arms around me, laughing through tears. We did it. One department, I caution. Just oncology for now. It's a foot in the door, she counters, squeezing my shoulders. They'll want the rest when they see what we can do. That weekend, while our small team celebrates with cheap champagne on folding tables in the garage, Google calls Rachel with an offer. 6 figures, full benefits, stock options. She tells them no without consulting me. Why? I ask later, helping her clean up paper plates and plastic cups. Rachel shrugs, gathering empty bottles. Google doesn't need me. We're saving lives here. I swallow hard, turning away so she won't see my face. Our makeshift family dinner, 4 of us crowded around card tables in a garage, means more than any Madison family gathering I've attended. The phone rings at 2:18 a.m. 3 weeks later. A nurse in oncology, voice tight with excitement. During our first night of full implementation, Medilink flagged a medication order that would have caused a severe reaction in an immunocompromised patient. The error never reached the patient. The system worked exactly as designed. I stand alone in the dark garage after the call, staring at our whiteboard, the same one where I first sketched out this dream when no one else could see it. My fingers trace the faded marker lines, the crossed-out failed approaches, the triumphant exclamation points marking breakthroughs. My parents' voices echo in my head. When are you going to get a real job? This computer hobby of yours has gone on long enough. The whiteboard tells a different story. It says, would you sacrifice everything for a dream no one else believes in? My answer stands in blue and black ink, equations and arrows pointing toward a future only I could see. Until now. 6 months later, the old garage door hangs on my office wall like a battle flag. Mounted in sturdy oak framing, its dents and scratches preserved behind museum-quality glass. Visitors often ask why the CEO of a 40-person company with 15 hospital contracts keeps such an eyesore in her otherwise minimalist office. I tell them it reminds me where we started. What I don't say, it reminds me who believed in me when no one else did. I trace my finger over a particular scratch from when Rachel's desk chair rolled back too far and gouged the paint. Back when our entire operation consisted of 2 refurbished laptops and a whiteboard salvaged from a university dumpster. "Lauren," my assistant knocks softly. "Your 10 o'clock is waiting in the conference room. Tell them 5 minutes." From my window, I watch Seattle's morning fog dissolve against the sharp edges of downtown. Our offices occupy the 14th floor of a glass tower, a far cry from the cramped suburban garage, where we spent our first 18 months. Through the glass wall separating my office from the development lab, I see our team hunched over workstations, building the next generation of software that prevents medical errors. My phone buzzes, the 7th voicemail from my mother this week. "Lauren, darling," her voice drips with honeyed desperation. "The ladies at the club were asking about you, and I realized we don't have a current photo for the family album. Perhaps we could have lunch? Call me back when you—" I delete it without listening to the rest. The family album. The same album where my high school graduation photo mysteriously disappeared, while Michael's academic achievements filled 3 pages. My inbox pings with a message from Rachel. "Your brother is in the lobby. Again." I type back, "Tell security our policy on unscheduled visits." This marks his 3rd attempt this month. The first time, he arrived with an expensive bottle of scotch and tales of how he always knew I would succeed. The second time, he brought investment proposals written on Hellsphere letterhead. My phone lights up with a text from Jessica. "For your information, your father contacted 2 of our board members yesterday. Thought you should know." I close my eyes for 3 long breaths. The $4.5 million revenue we generated last quarter speaks louder than any family validation. The 15 hospital contracts saved lives yesterday while my father was plotting his way into my boardroom. When I open my laptop, a notification from LinkedIn appears. My mother has publicly shared an article about Medilink, adding, "So proud of our Lauren. We always supported her vision. Proud parents, women in tech." The timestamp shows she posted it at 3:47 a.m., the exact time our first algorithm succeeded. The night neither of my parents answered when I called to share the news. I open a new email and address it to my entire family. To whom it may concern, after careful consideration, I am establishing the following boundaries. 1. No unscheduled visits to Medilink offices. 2. No contact with my board members, investors, or employees. 3. No public commentary on my professional achievements. I will reach out when I am ready for communication. Regards, Lauren Madison, CEO, Medilink. I hit send without rereading it. No editing, no second guessing. The next day, at our press conference announcing record growth, a reporter asks about my background. "You're the daughter of the renowned neurosurgeon Dr. Madison. Did his medical influence inspire Medilink's healthcare focus?" "Our team comes from diverse backgrounds," I respond, gesturing to the row of developers and engineers seated in the front row. Medilink was born from collective experience and a shared vision for safer patient care. Each person here contributed something essential. Later that afternoon, I finalized the paperwork for a $500,000 donation to establish the Self-Made Fund for women entrepreneurs from unsupportive environments. The foundation will provide both capital and mentorship to women who, like me, have been told their vision doesn't matter. At the monthly Medical Innovation Roundtable downtown, I noticed Michael's colleague Dr. Harrison approaching me instead of him. "Miss Madison, your communication platform has revolutionary implications for neurosurgery. Would you consider a specialized application for our department?" Across the room, I spot my brother watching this exchange, his expression caught between resentment and calculation. 2 charity galas later, in the weeks to come, the pattern becomes unmistakable. My parents' names have vanished from certain guest lists, particularly those hosted by hospital administrators and medical technology investors. Their carefully constructed social facade shows hairline fractures. The Morning Health Sphere announces their intent to acquire Metalink for $180 million. Our office erupts in celebration. Rachel pops champagne while our original team of 4 embraces in the center of the development floor. We did it, she whispers, her voice breaking. They said we couldn't, and we did it anyway. My phone remains silent. No congratulations from family. No surprised calls from parents who finally understand what I've built. Instead, Jessica sends a single text. Your brother showed up drunk at our apartment last night. Kept saying the family name meant something before you sold out. Think you broke their perfect family narrative. I look at the garage door mounted on my wall, testament to every night I slept on the office floor, every meal skipped to make payroll, every holiday spent coding while my family vacationed without me. Success wasn't the moment the acquisition papers were signed. Success was surviving without them. The champagne tastes sweeter for it. 2 days later, the corner booth at Millie's Diner still has the wobbly table I balanced with a folded napkin 4 years ago. The vinyl seats squeak under my weight as I slide in, running my fingers over the scratch marks where I once carved algorithm flowcharts while waiting for hash browns at 3 a.m. This is your big meeting place? Rachel asks, settling opposite me. Her expression mixes disbelief with amusement. The Madison family and Millie's Diner? That's exactly why I picked it. I straighten the salt and pepper shakers, positioning them with mathematical precision at the table's center. They'll hate every second. Outside, a silver Mercedes pulls into the parking lot, followed by my father's gleaming Jaguar. My pulse quickens, but I keep my breathing even, counting the seconds between inhale and exhale. Remember, Rachel says, squeezing my hand, you don't need their approval. You already won. The bell above the door jingles. My family enters like foreign diplomats visiting a developing nation, cautious steps, eyes darting around, assessing potential threats to their cashmere and silk. Mother's nose wrinkles at the scent of bacon grease and coffee. Father tugs at his Italian suit sleeves. Michael guides Jessica forward with a hand at the small of her back, his shoulders squared as if preparing for conflict. Lauren. My mother spots me first. Her voice carries the forced brightness reserved for awkward social obligations. What a charming establishment. They approach with visible discomfort, taking in the worn vinyl booths and laminated menus. Father pulls out a handkerchief to wipe the seat before sitting down. This place makes the best blueberry pancakes in Seattle, I say, not bothering to rise. I coded Metalink's first secure messaging protocol right where you're sitting, Dad. He shifts in his seat, tucking the handkerchief away. His surgeon's hands fold together on the tabletop, knuckles whitening. Lauren, we need to talk as a family, he begins, clearing his throat, about your future and the Madison legacy in medicine. I almost laugh. We're here to talk about my technology company that's being acquired for $180 million. There's no medicine in that equation. That's not entirely true, Mother interjects, her voice softening to the tone she once used to coax me into piano recitals. We've always believed in you, Lauren. Your analytical mind comes from generations of Madison doctors. That's why your medical communication system works so well. Rachel makes a small noise beside me that might be a stifled snort. Always believed in me? I repeat, letting the words hang in the air between us. Interesting revision of history. Michael leans forward. Look, sis, we're all proud of what you've accomplished. In fact, I've been thinking we could partner on some innovative approaches to neurosurgical planning. I have connections throughout the medical community that could open doors for you. For me? I tilt my head. Or for you? Jessica steadies her coffee cup, uncomfortable. We're family, Father says with authority. We support each other. Your mother and I were just telling the Hendersons at the club how we helped you get your start. A parent's guidance is invaluable in these entrepreneurial ventures. The folder I've kept in my desk drawer for 3 years sits heavy in my bag. I place it on the table with deliberate care, my fingertips pressing against the manila surface. Let's talk about support, I say, opening the folder. September 2020. Dad, you told Dr. Samuel Jenkins not to waste money investing in my little hobby. February 2021. Mom, you told Aunt Carol I was playing businesswoman while Michael did meaningful work. December 2022. Michael, you advised 3 potential investors to wait because my amateur project would fold within 6 months. I slide printed emails and text message screenshots across the table. Their faces change as they recognize their own words staring back at them. Lauren, Mother whispers, we were concerned about you. No, I say, maintaining eye contact. You were embarrassed by me. The waitress approaches, senses the tension, and retreats without taking orders. If we're going to have any relationship moving forward, I need complete honesty. I will not mix business with family under any circumstances. I require acknowledgement of your past behavior, not excuses or revisionist history, and I expect respect for the path I've chosen, whether you understand it or not. My voice remains steady, neither raised nor weakened. The table falls silent. You've always been difficult, Father finally says, color rising in his face. Even as a child, you refused to follow the sensible path laid out for you. Now you think money makes you superior? I built a career saving human lives while you type on computers. David! Mother gasps, her makeup, perfect face crumpling. For the first time in my memory, her tears look genuine, not calculated for effect. No, Dad, money doesn't make me superior, I answer calmly, but it revealed the truth about how conditional your love has always been. Michael's mask slips. The calculating look in his eyes hardens to something uglier. You think you're so special because some corporation threw money at your little program? I've spent years building real skills while you got lucky with a trend. Michael! Jessica hisses, mortified. I stand, gathering my belongings. Rachel rises beside me, a silent pillar of support. I didn't come here for your approval. I tell them, voice clear in the suddenly quiet diner. I came to give you one chance to be honest with me and with yourselves. Success didn't change me, it just made me visible to you. As I walk away, I hear my mother's muffled sobs, my father's angry muttering, the sound of Michael's hand slapping against the table. I don't look back. The bell above the door jingles as Rachel holds it open. Outside, the Seattle rain falls in gentle sheets, washing everything clean. Sunrise paints gold across the glass walls of Hellsphere's innovation wing. 1 year after the acquisition, and I still pause at the threshold of my office, fingers tracing the nameplate. Lauren Madison, Chief Innovation Officer. The whiteboard from our garage hangs opposite my desk, faded blue marker, Rachel's cramped handwriting, my own sprawling diagrams. Preserved behind museum-quality glass, it's both artifact and compass. 217, Rachel announces, leaning against my doorframe. Her curls are tamed today, professional for the board meeting. That's how many hospitals are running Metalink as of this morning. I smile, genuine. Remember when we celebrated our first? Memorial Regional. The day you spilled coffee all over the server. And you nearly had a heart attack. We laugh, the easy rhythm of people who've survived both failure and success together. My calendar pings. Time for my monthly therapy session with Dr. Reed. I grab my coat and pause at Rachel's desk. Mom called again. I tell her. Asked if she could come to the foundation launch next month. Rachel raises an eyebrow. What did you say? That she's welcome, as a guest, not family spokesperson. The lobby walls flash with rotating photos of our team. No Madison family portraits here, only the people who believed when it mattered. I catch a glimpse of Devin from engineering showing his grandmother the system interface, Carlos explaining a protocol to new interns. Later that day, in Dr. Reed's office, the familiar leather chair creaks as I settle in. Your mother's reaching out consistently now, he observes, his voice neutral. Small steps. She sent a card for the company anniversary. I trace the scar above my eyebrow. Dad still refuses contact. And Michael? Professional courtesy only, though Jessica stops by sometimes. She's brilliant wasted on neurosurgery. Dr. Reed smiles. How's the acceptance feeling? Like taking off shoes that never fit. That evening, I host dinner at my loft tour monthly tradition. The oak table stretches end to end, nothing like the cold formality of Bluebird. Rachel brings her famous lasagna. Carlos's husband makes perfect mojitos. Devin's twins scatter drawings across the floor. To found families, I toast, raising my glass. To the woman who wouldn't quit, Rachel counters. The conversation flows without performance or judgment, without the constant comparison that poisoned my childhood. No one here needs to diminish others to feel successful. Later, when everyone had gone, I came back to the office to sort out plans for further development. I stand at my window overlooking the Seattle skyline. Tomorrow, I'll finalize the foundation for first-generation entrepreneurs, people like me, with vision but no safety net. My phone lights up with a text from Mom. Proud of you, followed by a heart emoji. 3 simple words that would have changed everything years ago. Now they're just words, not validation I need anymore. The TED Talk next week terrifies me more than any investor pitch ever did. Redefining success beyond family expectations. 1,000 people will hear my story, maybe find courage in their own. I walk through my office, fingertips brushing the mounted garage door that Rachel salvaged when we moved. My reflection overlays with shadows of who I was: exhausted, determined, angry, afraid. But tonight, I see something new in the glass. Peace. The calm of a woman who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. I'm Lauren Madison, I whisper to my reflection, and I save lives my own way. The question isn't whether family validation matters. The question is whether I've finally learned to validate myself. The answer shines back at me from the glass. Yes,